I want you to play Cupid. Here's what playing Cupid is. There's always people in your world that should be connected with other people in your world. The idea of playing Cupid, when you're in a networking environment, is I want you to take it upon yourself to put people together. So if I'm talking to someone and they do something with automotive, and I find somebody else in the same room that does something with automotive, I'm going to walk that one person over to the other person and says, Bob, you and I were just talking. I understand you're in automotive. I just met Pete a minute ago. He's in automotive too. I thought you guys would be a good meet, right? A good introduction. And I take it upon myself to do this. But here's what I say. Well, it looks like you two are going to be able to make some money. I want in on this too. But here's the thing. They're both going to say yes. We're all going to chuckle. But they're both going to say yes. Why? Because I've taken it upon myself to put two people together. This could be your neighbor. This could be the person down the street. This could be somebody you meet at a networking event. I have a standing rule. I'll pay $100 to most people that I can find somebody within 1,000 feet of their door that has no idea what they do. Now, I know 1,000 feet seems like a long way, right? I'll say 100 yards. That's 300 feet. The idea ultimately is we have all these people in our world that, we just kind of, neighbors, we just kind of wave to, and it's like, yeah, he does something with computers, right? He probably knows the exact person you want to be introduced to. You probably have a relationship that would be beneficial to them. Here's another thing I ask. Out of the people that are listening today, or the people in the room, right? How many of you have actually ever got a lead from your mother or father? Assuming they're done. Okay, 3? Your parents don't like you, right? Right? And it's interesting. And I'll do this in front of 100 people, literally, and we'll have 3 hands come up. Now, here's your mom and dad. They know what you do, right? Your business cards on the magnet on the refrigerator. And yet, they don't. Brother or sister, aunt or uncle, cousins, nieces, nephews. Most never do anything, right? They know what you do. They know what a good prospect's for you, and they do nothing, right? I do family networking a lot where I'm literally brought into big families to do the very thing that I'm saying right now. Now, it's interesting. That's not the case in every family. There are certain cultures that if you didn't do business with that person in your family, you'd be excommunicated. A lot of the Middle Eastern and Jewish families, it's very incestuous in terms of working together. So if you got a mortgage or you bought a house and you didn't get your mortgage from your cousin, well, that would be it. You wouldn't be allowed to come to Christmas. But there are times now in other cultures where you intentionally don't work with your cousin. Go figure. Why? Right? It is. It's really weird. It doesn't make any sense. And yet we know that to be the case. So when we understand the idea of playing Cupid, I want you to do that. Why? Because if I put 2 people together that I think should be together, now both owe me. So I'm going to call my neighbor and say, hey, Bob, I know when we met last, we were having a beer over at the block picnic. You happened to mention that you sell some computers. And it occurs to me, I've got 2 big clients who use tons of computers. If I was to introduce you to those guys, you think you might be able to introduce me to blah, 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 blah? Right? Maybe somebody in your world would benefit from financial service, maybe even yourself, right? I'm priming the pump. I'm giving first, right? I'm not asking him to do something unless I do it first. And he can say one of 2 things. He could say, oh, absolutely, yeah, if you introduce me, I'll be happy to. Or he could say, no, I don't want to. Well, you get to decide. That's the beautiful thing about having choices. Again, in a networking environment, playing Cupid, bringing people together, allows you to position yourself to get opportunities from both. Whether you're at a networking group, whether you're just putting 2 people together out in the world. I love to do that with networking relationships where I'll look at all the attendees' names and say, wow, this person should really talk to this person. And I'll call them and it's like, hey, I'm going to introduce you to Bob. And I'll call them, hey, Pete, Bob's going to be calling you and this is why I think you guys should talk. But now Bob and Pete both owe me. And I always would rather have an obligation for a lead as opposed to a hope for a lead. Let's keep going.